Alright, if you're hitting the theaters this weekend in India and want to skip seeing aging Bollywood stars romancing beautiful but amateur actresses, then Karate Kid Legends is your answer. Now, I should preface this by saying that I am a fan of the original films as well as the Netflix spin-off series Cobra Kai, and I'm willing to admit that the stories in this world can often lean towards being cliched or cheesy, but they're told with so much heart that it's hard not to become a fan. It's the characters that make this 40-year-old saga come alive, not its subplots, especially Mr. Miyagi from the originals and more recently Johnny Lawrence in Cobra Kai. Remember that 2010 Karate Kid reboot with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan? It held its own as a movie, but it was just a remake of the original with new names and a different location. But with Karate Kid Legends, that changes. We are given a connection we didn't think we wanted, but one that was perhaps needed, especially after Cobra Kai was so connected to the originals. Jackie Chan's Mr. Han is no longer a Miyagi-type replacement, but is tied to Mr. Miyagi's past, and the film brilliantly links Kung Fu and Karate as two branches of the same tree. Finally, a mainstream movie that acknowledges their connection instead of fueling the silly debate of which one is better. But most strikingly, the film keeps the core Karate Kid template the same, while still managing to subvert expectations in a fresh way. Basically the same ingredients, but they mix together differently. The protagonist is still a lanky teenager who has moved cities, who is being raised by a single maternal figure, and for whom father figures are usually elderly martial arts teachers. There still is an antagonistic dojo, or the head of such a dojo, a tournament, and of course a love interest with a crazy ex. So far pretty standard, right? Except this time our protagonist isn't being bullied and doesn't have to learn how to fight in order to fend them off or save the girl from her crazy ex-boyfriend. This time around he's already a gifted martial artist, even if he does initially come off as lanky, shy, and even effeminate in some of his mannerisms. The real battle here isn't as external as it is internal, and the film does a great job of integrating this facet into the Karate Kid movie template. In fact, it's the real macho-looking men in this film who get beaten around the most, and I have to commend the filmmakers for truly bringing the franchise into the 2020s, showing young people from an accurate, updated lens and giving older characters a youthful energy. I can imagine this film is also a big win in the representation of the skinny Asian high school kid in Hollywood films. In fact, the film itself draws a pretty clever parallel calling Ben Wang's Li Fong a Chinese Peter Parker. Ralph Macchio makes a much-awaited return as Daniel LaRusso on the big screen, and when paired with Jackie Chan's Mr. Han, it's like seeing a duo with chemistry you didn't think existed, delivering pure nostalgic comfort in the process. The film takes place after the events of Cobra Kai but stands on its own, so don't worry if you haven't seen the show. That said, if you are a Cobra Kai fan, there's an amazing cameo that was undoubtedly the highlight of the movie for me, and I bet for every fan out there. It's always great to see reboots and requels done right, and Karate Kid Legends totally delivers in that regard.